Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Instagram once again for another Wine Wednesday. Hey, I'm Christian Laroche, sales manager for Waldorf Wine Group here in British Columbia, and I'm so glad you could join us here. Wine Wednesday, as the name implies, we do this every Wednesday. This is something that we started doing back in May of 2020. It was our way of pivoting online and bringing online wine content for all things Waldorf Wine Group, and we've been doing it ever since. It's a fun way for us to be able to talk about some of the things that we do. We're a small family-owned wine importing company, started back in 1993 by Andy Waldorf, still firmly at the helm. And, we are importers of European wines into British Columbia and Alberta. We have a really super eclectic portfolio. We run the gamut, high-end, Bordeaux, Burgundy, classic growth Bordeaux. Hey, we're actually, right now, our team is, in Bordeaux attending the, En Primeur, checking out the new vintage right now, and so that we can source some great new wines and bring them back here to British Columbia and Alberta. But we do things in between, all over, eclectic portfolio, co-op cellars, small family estates. And in the case of today, we're so proud, so fortunate to be able to bring in these great wines from Germany, from one of the preeminent family estates in the Nahe region. Yeah, we're talking Nahe royalty here. We are talking about Donnhoff. Yeah, we are so pleased. That magical family based in Oberhausen in the Nahe region, farming 25 hectares and some of the absolute best wines going. We're so honored to be able to bring these wines here into British Columbia. And for those of you not familiar, this is an old family estate, and they trace their roots going back at least 250 years. They're about 90 kilometers southwest of Frankfurt in the Nahe region in Oberhausen. And they're a cool family. They started out way back, and they were a full-on agricultural estate, growing grapes, vegetables, raising livestock, the full-on agricultural estate. And Helmut Donnhoff took over from his father back in 1966, and they were still actually renting out some of their vineyards, or some of their land for agricultural purposes. But starting in 1971, they sold off some of that land and concentrated only on grape growing and winemaking. And they're a very impressive family estate, to say the least. Not so much of obviously the quality of their wines. These are some of the absolute greatest white wines in the world, and I can say that with full certainty. These are some of the Nec Plus Ultra wines, and we're very fortunate to get a small allocation of them each year. But what's cool about Donnhoff is, as I mentioned, Helmut Donnhoff taking over in 1966, and they've acquired more vineyards in and around the Nahe region. This is a beautiful region, a little bit off the beaten path, and very quiet, restrained, not big touristy region, more pastoral and nice, just a quiet slice of vineyards southwest of Frankfurt. But what's very impressive about the Donnhoff family is they've acquired some of the most incredible vineyards around the region. They're farming no less than 10 different Grand Cru vineyards, including a majority of Niederhauser Hermannshohl, and they have a monopoly on the Oberhauser Bruck vineyard. The wine that we're trying today, basically what this is a snapshot of the estate. This is kind of their calling card wine that gives you a perfect introduction into the wines of the Donnhoff family. Now, let's flip the camera around. We bring this in here in British Columbia. We bring in a number of wines. We've got a small quantity available right now, and this is a fantastic introduction. Like I said, this is kind of the calling card of the winery. This is the estate Riesling, the Riesling Trocken, so fermented dry. And what this is a mixture of different vineyards that the estate owns. They're currently farming about 25 hectares of vineyards, and as I mentioned, 10 different Grand Cru sites. The estate is certified fair and green sustainable, and this wine is mostly from Oberhauser Felsenberg, volcanic soil, some of the Keselberg, which is slate soil, and Niederhauser Clam, which is the weathered porphyry, quartzite, and slate. So it's got a real mixture of soils. I think this is a really cool snapshot of what the vineyard does, what the estate does, rather, year in, year out. Now, they do a couple of different versions of this. They do just a regular Riesling that contains a little bit more residual sugar, so an off-dry style. And then the one that we brought in here, this is actually the Trocken, as you see here. Trocken means it's been fermented dry, so they fermented most of the residual sugar out of this wine. So technically this is a dry wine, fermented to 12 degrees of alcohol. So a cool interpretation, and I really, really, really love this wine because, you know, we do a lot of Mosel Riesling. That's kind of the backbone of our German part of the portfolio, and this is a very, stylistic shift from all that, light and lacy red apple skin. We've got very, very elegant flavors here, but the flavor profile is quite different here too. So we're getting a little bit away from the red apple, more into the peach and the golden apple, savory herb, and a different style. So fascinating wine. And actually, as we are quickly approaching Easter, this is a wine that would, do fantastic work at the dinner table. It goes with so many different types of food, but also, great on its own. So a beautiful, beautiful wine. This wine is not available at BCLDB stores. It's only available via private retail and at better restaurants around the province of British Columbia. We don't have very much, as I say, small allocations each year. So we brought in a little bit of the gold cap Niederhauser Hermannshohl to the BCLDB, but everything else we currently bring in right now is only via private retail. So we're bringing in the estate Riesling Trocken. We are bringing in the Niederhauser Clam Cabinet, and we're also bringing in a little bit of the Norheim Kirschek Spätlese as well too. We've got a few cases of that too. So if you're interested in anything, please do drop me a line. You can either DM me or shoot me an email at Christian@waldorfwine.com, and that's Christian, Khristian at waldorfwine.com. And I can tell you what's available, pricing and availability. There's not very much. As I say, these wines go very, very quickly each time we bring them in. As mentioned, Helmut Donnhoff took over from his father in 1966, and then his son Cornelius took over back in 2007, and really, really doing a great job. This family is very, very hands-on in the vineyard, looking after. They're trying to bring in the best grapes at all possible. Here, as I mentioned, they are fair and green, certified, sustainable. And what they do as well, too, the soil is covered with organic material like straw and compost to preserve water and to avoid evaporation and erosion. All the grapes, of course, are hand-picked. And what's cool about the Donnhoff is, despite being, spread out over 10 different Grand Cru sites and 25 hectares throughout the Nahe region, they are lightning quick. All the grapes are handpicked, and generally most of the grapes are pressed within 3 hours of picking. Wines are fermented in the traditional German casks, the 1200 liter Stück barrels or the 2400 liter Doppelstück barrels, as well as a little bit of stainless steel, and it's all spontaneous fermentation. And as I said, in the case of this wine, 2023 vintage, we had a real hodgepodge of weather conditions, but really beautiful wines. Very, very, very elegant. I pre-tasted this wine a little while ago, and I was struck, how for such a young wine in 2023, really has super persistence in terms of the flavor. So this might be a good time. I think I'm going to swing get the bottle out of shot, and we'll pull the Google Earth map up and see where we're located. As mentioned, we're about 90 kilometers southwest of Frankfurt. Here's the Google Earth map. So Frankfurt here. We're just along the Rhine River, and then down here, just a little bit south of Bingen, is where the Nahe flows into the Rhine, and we've got the towns of Bad Kreuznach, Treisen, Bad Münsterberg, Norheim, and then down around here as the river bends. This is Niederhauser, and right here on the tip is the very, very famous mound of Hermannshol, the Grand Cru vineyard. And just across the river here is where the winery itself is located in Oberhausen. Beautiful, beautiful village. So as mentioned, this, I'm going to pull up, this is the VDP map. Now, Donnhoff has been a member of the VDP Association. So check it out. If you ever see the Imperial Eagle up here on the capsule, now this is all bottled under full stealth enclosure, which we love to see. But this gives you an idea. This is a quality growers association that have been really, really trying to promote the integrity of some of the most celebrated vineyards, and their standards go above and beyond the 1971 German wine laws. As mentioned, this is a mixture of Oberhauser Felsenberg, Niederhauser Clam, down here, and also a little bit of Oberhauser, the Keselberg, the slate vineyard as well. Yeah, really, 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 really cool wines. I'm just going to pull back actually and get the bottle back into shot. And this may well be a good time to give the wine a try. So let's put the camera around if you don't mind. We are all too happy to bring these wines in. As mentioned, small allocations each year, but we've been bringing them in for a number of years and continue to do so. We've gone a few times to the VDP auctions. It's interesting because, they keep aside certain barrels and certain bottlings that are only available at auction. And, we brought in a few of them before. They're crazy cool. They're not inexpensive, but fabulous wines. And as I say, quite different from their, Mosel brethren within our portfolio. Cornelius Donnhoff does a great job. He has a very, very light touch, very, very considerate of all that goes on in the vineyards, and he really does treat his vineyards as a full-on living organism, very respectful of flora and fauna. You know what? I'm talking an awful lot, but I'm getting thirsty. I would love to give this wine a try. So why don't we do so right now? This is a young wine. Reasonably high acid. It's one of those wines I would recommend that we generally drink our white wines too cold, our red wines too warm. So I would say again, 15, 20 minute rule before your meal, especially now as we're starting to get back into slightly warmer weather. And, we might be shifting from the dining room out into the patio or poolside or around the barbecue and doing more al fresco dining. Bring your whites out of the fridge, maybe 15, 20 minutes before the meal. Put your reds in the fridge. And, you don't want to serve the wines too cold. Otherwise, all you'll taste is the acidity and you'll numb the fruit. But you miss an awful lot as well, too. So it's nice to give the wine a little bit of a head start. So, 2023, we've got a very, pale straw, color as we'd expect with the young wine. Let's give the wine a swirl and a sniff. Wow. Very, very interesting nose. And again, so different from a lot of our Mosel Rieslings. This is really showing a lot of peach and spearmint and less red apple skin, more golden apple. Not super citrusy either. There's definitely a little bit of savory herb going on in there too. Very, very interesting. I'm going to give this a little a taste and see what we've got. Wow, for such a young wine, that is very, very rich. It really opens up. I mean, again, I'm getting a little bit of that peacock tail. It really fans out across the palate. Dry, I wouldn't call this bone dry. I mean, there's definitely just a tiny hint of residual sugar on the tip of the tongue, but the acidity, really good cling in the mid palate. But it's quite textural and minerally. I'm definitely getting a bit of a stoniness and a little bit of a pepperiness as well too. Kind of an undercurrent there. Very persistent flavors. Actually, a little bit of spice on the finish as well too. But I'm just gonna have one more sip if I may. Yeah, definitely picking up that peach and spearmint. Almost, it's weird. Talc. That's all that comes to mind. It really reminds me of talcum powder a little bit. But there's a really nice juicy lick of acidity on the finish as well too. That's a beautiful wine. We are trying the 2023 Donnhoff Riesling Trocken, a dry Riesling from the Nahe region, brought to us by Cornelius Donnhoff and his family. This is currently available here in British Columbia. Private retail and better restaurants. We also have a little bit of the Niederhauser clam cabinet as well. and the Norheim Kirschek Spätlese. Actually, the Norheim Kirschek Spätlese is the 2021 fantastic vintage as well too. So drop me a line if you're interested in anything, and I can tell you what's available. Yeah, Easter's coming. Lots going on. We're running some LTOs right now too, so I've got some of our Sellback fish label Riesling on LTO dollar off at BCLDV till April 26th. Our Chianetti San Luigi Dogliani Dolcetto, very, very interesting wine, organic Dolcetto from San Luigi. That's $2 off until April 26th. That would be a dynamite Easter wine, especially if you're doing ham. Or serve it chilled with a little bit of grilled salmon with a teriyaki glaze. Lovely stuff. Our natural Minervois from Chateau Coupe Rose, Naturamania, is also on special at BCLDB until April 26th. It's a cool wine. A little more savory, a little bit more earthy, but good fruit on that wine. Beautiful charcuterie and cheese wine. It's a great wine to try. If you ever wanted to try a natural wine, but you don't want to break the bank, great wine to check out. Our Brut Rosé, Crémant de Champigny, Crémant de Loire, Brut Rosé, Cabernet Franc, done in a traditional method, a little bit like champagne. Secondary fermentation in bottle, 17 months on lease. Fabulous brunch wine. It'd be great with quiche or some smokes, again, charcuterie and cheese, or just sitting and sipping around the pool or on the deck. That's also $1 off, at BCLDB. And also, our most, popular Sauterne in BC, Chateau Armagent des Ormes, is on special until April 26th, $2 off. That's a really cool wine from Prégnac. It is mostly Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc with a little bit of Muscadel. It's a really cool wine because it has a really interesting bergamot flavor. Sweet, of course. Fabulous with stinky blue cheese. Try with some Naramata Tiger Blue. Oof. Good stuff, and about half the price of most BC ice wines. What's not to like? Anyway, not much else. Got a lot of wines in the pipeline right now. Some cool wines just about to arrive. We're getting low on our Lopez Heredia wines. Kind of the last kick. It's the last call, basically, for those wines until next year. So if you want anything, let me know, and I'd be very happy to hook you up. Hey, as always, if you have not already done so, I do invite you, please, to follow us here on Instagram. We do this every Wednesday, and it's a good way to keep up to date. Lots of new cool wines in the pipeline, and it's always great to see our good friends joining us here, like you, David Lancelot. I see you. Anyway, I'm Christian. Glad you could join us, and take care. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.